One day we will all be in a place in our lives where starting a family is a viable option. Natural birth is not an option for everyone, and adoption is not the only alternative. Today I want to talk about the alternative of foster care. About 4.5 years ago, my family decided to get their foster care license. This was a kind of a sudden decision, and it was very specific to the situation our family was in at the time. Today I want to briefly explain what foster care is, why kids are placed into foster care, and lastly, the steps and requirements of becoming a foster parent. So we're going to start with what foster care is. So Webster's dictionary states that foster care is a situation in which for a period of time a child lives with and is cared for by people who are not the child's parents. So the primary goal of foster care is to provide a safe haven for children. The primary goal stays the same throughout all branches of foster care, and there are 3 branches of foster care. There's kinship care, informal care, and formal care. Kinship care is where the biological relatives take in the children, so aunts, uncles, or grandparents. It's not adoption because they don't have complete guardianship, but it's not just like they're staying with with family members because the state technically not owns the children, but they're under state regulation and law. And then informal care is what my family ended up having to go through because the kids, they were living in our house while we were getting licensed. So we didn't get our license first. It was this huge process and it was all mixed together. And then formal care is the generic, you get your license and then the state will bring you or provide the foster care or foster children to you. So that is foster care, and so now we're going to talk about why children are put into the foster care system. There's an abundance of reasons, but including abuse such as mental, emotional, physical, incarceration of parents, and death, and even choice. A parent can choose to put their kid into the foster care system if they so choose. But according to the AFCRS report of 2018, the #1 reason for children being in foster care is physical abuse in some sort of way. Along with the foster care system are all of the requirements that it takes to be a foster parent. This was the hardest adjustment for our family, was just all the little steps that we had to go through. The first requirement, though, is that you have to be 21 or older. You don't have to be married. You can be single. You have to have a house or an apartment, but in a steady income. So if you are 21 or older and you are interested in becoming a foster parent, you have to reach out to an agency. That's part of the reason why foster care isn't really a popular topic, is because they don't really advertise well. So you would have to reach out to the DCF, which is the Department of Children and Families, and from there they will set up an informative meeting, and they'll tell you all of the regulations, the rules, the different processes that you can take, so the 3 different kinds of foster care that I talked about earlier. And from there they will want you to set up a family assessment. A family assessment is where they will come to your house and they will interview each individual person in the family. So if it's just a husband and a wife, then that's that. But if there's children, they ask everyone specific questions to see where they stand on being a foster sibling or parent. And then they will compile all of that and just see where everyone stands as a whole to see if it's a good fit for a child to be there. After your family assessment, you need to provide 3 references, and the KBI will, you have to get a criminal background check. The criminal background check is not to to belittle you or to make you feel like a victim or a criminal. It's just to make sure that these kids are going into a safe place because they're not coming from a safe place. So after all of those steps, there's the home safety assessment. So this is where the state will come to your house and they will just kind of observe the type of living space that you live in. So it's just to see what will need to be changed and how much space you have. So if you can have more than 1 kid, or if you really don't have enough space for a teenager or an infant. This was the hardest part to get used to because we live in a big Victorian house, and we always have for a long time. And opening cabinets, no issue until we had to get locks on every cabinet. hairspray, perfume, everything has to be put up. Baby gates when you're 17 years old and trying to go downstairs get a midnight snack, not fun. And I've broke so many handles, but you just don't think about what type of danger a child can be in, especially when they live in an unsafe environment that they're coming from. They don't realize what they can't crawl up the stairs because they were never really watched. The last step to becoming a foster parent is the training program. It's 30 hours. Not every state requires this, but Kansas does. And it's called MAP, Model Approach to Partnership in Parenting. This training program it's just basically to educate the parents on how to deal with different types of behaviors and different types of trauma these kids have gone through, because they're not used to it and these kids aren't going to be used to it either. So it's just kind of that extra fluff of education that both of them need. So today I have provided you with what foster care is, why children are placed into the foster care system, and the steps to becoming a foster parent. I hope you all feel more informed on the different alternatives to parenting besides just natural birth and adoption.